Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Game of Thrones Winter's Coming. We have had a new update on the 22nd of July, and this update brings us a good chunk of new things that could be interesting and impact the game. First of all, we've added more details about the Glorious Battle event, so we can take a look at that probably in a bit. Then we have the new commander Darius, which will be available through the Glorious Battle event that we can take a look at. And then there's the Awakening for Obion and Salmar, which we have currently in the game. And then Jaime will be in the latter half of July, so that's something to keep in mind, of course. So that's not going to be included in this game, the last Awakening, but the other two we can take a look at. Improve localization for some of the interfaces, improve some of other game experiences and GUI, fix display issue of Opposed Kingdom for Wild's Kingdom event, which is super annoying, and hope this time around it's really solved, but that's something we won't see until probably 2 weeks from now or something like that. And then there's some digits for Treasure Seeker and other minor bugs. And aside from this, there's also the entire stuff to the Tavern that has been added. And yeah, so we're going to jump into the game and take a look at the things that have been added right now. We are now inside the game, and first things first is the Glorious Battle additional information that we have here. We've always had access to the first two kind of pages, if you can say like that. Which show like the military positions and details about stuff and so on. And now we also have access to the match descriptions, which you can see is quite lengthy. Basically, the thing that happens is there's a bunch of points that you can capture. It happens on a different map, and there's basically 8 factions, I believe, 8 or 9 factions fighting against each other for those points, and you have like certain time intervals where you can get stuff, do stuff, and so on. So that's going to be interesting. There's also an overview of the rewards. You can see there are some S tokens, there's some blessing stones, resources, castles, total attack badges, stuff like that, glory raffle token. So there's definitely stuff that you can do, and stuff that you can attempt to play around with, and the rewards are a bit extreme, but that's not necessarily a bad thing in my opinion, because that basically allows for people to actually participate in the match. And I personally would say, even though your troops can die and stuff like that, still participate in it, use it as a chance to actually get some rewards. And even though you're not actively participating in terms of battling and stuff like that, there's still roles that you can do as well. So definitely something to keep your eyes out on. And it also, like, read up on the stuff. This was just a very rough estimate or very rough idea of what the rules are going to say. The event is going to run over a course of at least over a week, I believe, probably further even. So definitely interesting, and there's people going into UC, so that might actually open up chances for other alliances to actually also get in and get some good rewards. But generally, go for it anyways. Give it a try, see how it is, and play around with it. Something short to mention before we go into the commanders is that the Tavern also was included in this update. I can't really show exactly what is being updated, but I can tell you about it. Basically, beforehand we had a max level of 60 and couldn't go higher than that. But now, with the Awakening that has been added, it allows basically per star or per star of Awakening, it gives you 5 additional levels in the Tavern for the max level that you can have. And from what I can see, they keep the 5k XP, I believe, up to level 65 or so. So it's quite expensive, but if you really have like maxed out your account already on that part and just have like friendship stuff laying around, that's one way that you can actually upgrade the Tavern further, and it's something I mention now because it's not something that has been added to the update list, but it's something that is in the game currently, so take a look at it as well if you have commanders that are able to go further up than level 60. Now we take a look at the commanders that has had their awakening added, and of course also generally been added to the game. So first up is Obion, Obion, however you basically tell it. There seems to be some stone production stuff, stone capacity and so on. It's a little bit wonky, I'm not really sure what's going on there. Endurance recovery rate has been added as well. Hidden ability, can't really see, like apparently stone capacity, stone production and endurance recovery. Not really sure if that's actually going to be it or if they're switching it around or something like that. Might be a bug or something like in the game. Follows the same system than the other awakenings, where max level is increased, cooldown is decreased, and skill damage is increased. Friendship increase on the Tavern. Can't remember what he has, but I believe it's combat rate or something else. Enhanced specialization, which you can see like yes here. And then the awakening skill is quite interesting. Enemy infantry defense reduction 10%, stone production plus 200%, and city stone capacity plus 500%, which are all passive awakenings. So is it worth it? Kinda expensive for 10% defense reduction on infantries. Maybe if you have a stone hyper farm you could be interested in it, what do I know. But personally I would say for the amount of tokens you will get, like have to use for it, not really worth it unless you really have like excess amount of tokens that you don't really use for anything else. That at least my take on it, so yeah, keep that in mind when you're doing it or looking at it. The new commander here we have is Salma. Second commander also get awakened. Specialization, of course, total health, cavalry attack, spearman attack. We already talked about that in a previous video where I went into it. The same is for, of course, the hidden ability effect. Could be interesting for some accounts, I would say, that focus on those specific two types and want to switch around between them. Would it be something I personally would recommend? Not really. But then again, it's always nice to have the ability to switch out commanders, but it's really, like, the epic tokens are really expensive to actually upgrade things, so keep that in mind. Follows also the same standard system with each awakening star gives 5 levels extra, cooldown decrease on 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, or rather, oh sorry, on 2 stars and 4 stars, and then damage increase on 1 star and 3 star for the skill damage, evolution, enhanced specialization, so on and so on and so on. And then the awakening skill, all out charge. At the start of the battle, allied female commanders have an 80% chance to use the active army skill one time directly, but the normal attacks of troops the allied female commanders belong to will have a 30% chance of missing the enemies in the first 5 seconds. And 5 seconds can be a huge deal in battles, and for me personally I would say, is it worth it? Not really. I personally dislike stuff that has heavy RNG because it makes you basically rely on a dice to actually win certain matchups or not, and it also makes it unreliable. In Alliance Conquest, for example, if you're trying to tank things, then if the dice rolls your favor, cool, you win. But if your dice then rolls 3 times not in your favor, you lose. And it's just something that's like, even though it's 30%, it's still like kinda iffy, and it doesn't really say if the 80% chance has to activate for the 30% to actually decrease, or if the 30% decrease is a permanent stat that will be there regardless if the 80% chance procs or not. So like I said, personally not a huge fan of RNG. There's probably some people that think it's awesome and really like RNG stuff. I know that a lot of people are rather interested in later as a commander because of her ability to activate female commander skills, but I would pretty sure say that she's still a lot stronger in terms of skill system on RNG than this commander, because 20% chance of missing is a big deal, especially once you get up to the high tier rallies. So it's not something I personally would go for, but interesting. It's an interesting skill. It gives something extra to talk about in the game and a new way of using a skill, I suppose. And then lastly we have the new commander Darius that's been added to the game after the last update, and this particular commander focuses on Glorious Battle, the new event. And you can see like these damage are equivalent to troops of attack of the enemy cooldown, blah blah blah. Basically just a standard active. Doesn't really look like it has any special things or so going for it. Doesn't have any strategic skills. Reasonable price, rule of money, best sellsword company. Glorious Battle as one of the logistics, single trading time increased by 10%. And Glorious Battle as one of the offensive enemy casualty rate increased by 10%. And casualty rate reduced by 10%. It's okay, but the good thing about it is that all of these buffs are passive. So if you want to have access to these buffs, they're active all the time on your account because they're passive. You will just have to get the commander to the correct tier quality, if you can say it like that. And the way you do that is, of course, in the Glorious Battle event, where you get tokens stolen that you can get for rewards, and then there are like certain wheels and stuff that you can get rewards in when you have to spin them. So something you should look out for. Personally, I would say if you can get him and you don't have like a high priority on other stuff, take it, but try to get him. I would say casualty rate increase and casualty rate reduction is always nice in these kind of game modes, and single trading time is of course also really nice because I believe it also adds like certain quests on in the mode that gives you rewards, so it might actually help you get those rewards, so keep that in mind as well. Let's see, a skill. Perform 3 attacks against enemy targets in conical areas, stealing 3,918 of max health per attack. Stealing indicates that he would maybe heal from it, not sure if he will. Upon death of any other unit, increase own max health by 5,877. When hit by normal attacks, there's an 80% chance to reflect damage equal to 5% of health, up to 8,490 damage. And max health greater than 60,730 puts curse on both allies and enemies whenever a unit receives healing. Reduce attack by 3,918 for 10 seconds. Quite interesting. Would mean that you kind of have to like find a mix between healing / shield meter to actually make him work. I can't see how he works in terms of rebel leaders, at least, because you kind of need healing there, and then it will like decrease attack and stuff like that. So doesn't really do it for me, but well, stuff like that is interesting. And then there's of course the awakening skill, which has been shown. We don't have I don't have access to the awakening yet because he's not unlocked, of course, but increased resilience limit by 20, increased daily contribution conversion to glory points limit by 400, total health increased by 10%. Total health increase is actually pretty decent, a pretty good deal. He might be elite tokens commander, not sure if he is, but he might be. Personally, I would say interesting concept. I like the fact that they add a commander for a specific game mode that can give stats for a game mode, and it's also like attack and defense commander, mostly defense, but it's a spear commander, and spear commanders are always liked because we kind of like them, or people like them in general, at least free-to-play people, regarding elite trials and stuff like that. So it adds some extra usage there as well. So, but this was kind of like a rundown of the patch. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to it, of course. Comment down below if there's something specific you want me to look at, of course. And yeah, if you're new to the channel, the link is down in the description below for the music, for the Discord group, and for the game as well if you want to play it. And yeah, so look forward to the new event, and what's coming with it, of course. And good luck to everyone. Hope you had a good AC season. Yeah, take care, guys. Have fun. Bye bye.